we go. Welcome to the Man Lucrative Podcast. I'm the host, the one, the only Magneto7 in the building. I'm here. He's here. Hear ye. The court is in session. But this is episode 195. Episode 195 of the Man Lucrative Podcast. This episode is brought to you by me. Go ahead and get anything off my website if you want some. Look, when the sponsors don't re-up, I'm not going to just give y'all the read. I'm not going to just, come on, who does that? So this episode is brought to you by me. If you need beats, if you need coaching calls, if you need, the 30-day, hold up. Wait. The 30-day social media challenge that I did back in March is officially available for y'all to purchase. So if y'all want to do that, y'all need some coaching all the way through the month. I have something for you to do every day for 30 days. And I'm literally coaching you on camera, and you got the PDF, and it's just a lot. It's a lot. So if you need any of that stuff, make sure you go to my website. Link is in the bio. If you're looking at this on YouTube, the link is in the description. All right, let's do some shout outs right quick. I saw a few people here earlier, so I want to make sure. I want to make sure I show my respects to all of the people that was here earlier. So Crowder Daywalker, you were one of the first ones here, big dog. What up? Will Glover, what up, boy? Gene Noel, what up? Noopy Trap Star, what up? Unapologetically K, what's going on? Yo, that is always going to be a lot for me to pronounce. When you're trying to say it fast, it's real hard to say fast. I want to challenge y'all to say it unapologetically K. Say it fast. You won't be able to do it, I promise. But welcome. What up, John? What's going on? Big Goliath was in the building. What's good? Upgrade the meaning. Go ahead and holler at them. They are doing a lot of dope stuff. I stamped them. Stamp of approval. They're dope. Go holler at them. Modoc Cuz C's, I think that's your name. And that's all I see right now. That's all I saw. Yo, it is a lot to say. Unapologetically K. If you say that real quick, it's real hard to say. Sniper, you down? What up? Try to say it fast. That is the trick. Try to say it fast. If you can say it fast, you're gonna be like, I don't know. But I gotta give y'all a quick recap. I recapped on Lucrative Love, but I'll tell y'all a little bit for my main audience that's always here for me, because I'm here for y'all like y'all here for me. But we did the Mom's Musical. It was a very successful stage play. We had a lot of people there. I was very pleased. But as I said on the show, which y'all might have to just go watch the recap on Lucrative Love. Go ahead and follow that page too if you ain't already doing it. But we did the stage play, and it was a nice packed audience. But behind the scenes, there was a lot of this. Who ya? Who? They were doing everything was in subtitle mode, Chinese status. You couldn't tell what was going on. But I had a lot of notes that I made for the process, and that might be a teachable moment that I could talk about right quick before we get into the Puff stuff, because Puff has been doing his best nasty work. And I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. So I am a person, and like most of us Scorpios, we are a little bit different, right? If you are a Scorpio that's a high achiever, you always I got to get the air conditioning. I just told y'all a few weeks ago how my dishwasher went out, and then my dishwasher was having a conversation with the refrigerator. And the refrigerator was having a conversation with the dryer in the basement, and all of them was like, "We're not gonna work today. We're not gonna do." So clearly, everybody had the conversation with my AC unit outside, because the AC unit ain't working too. So I'm gonna have to get all this stuff replaced. This has been an expensive year. Already, 2025 has been a very, very expensive year. But nevertheless, it was a lot of things in the process of creating a stage play where, honestly, because I didn't technically have to fund most of the first one we did. The first one was like 100% financed by partners, sponsors. It was 100% financed by them. All we had to do is do the show up, and deliver, right? This particular time, I had to prove that I was Mr. Mad Lucrative. I never proclaimed to be Mr. Mad Lucrative either. I never proclaimed that, but I had to show and prove this time. So There will be a lot of changes next year because we are planning on doing the stage play for moms every year. Shouts out to Big Mike too. Big Mike from my job. Him and his wife came through, and a few other people from my job, and they was just like, "Yo, I had no idea. Like this stage play was phenomenal." I was like, "Oh, say it with your chest. Say it with your chest, big dog." So he was like, "Yo, dude, like y'all killed that for real. The music, the scenes." He's like, "I never knew that much stuff about women," and that was the point. All my fellas, that was the point. I wanted y'all to come to the stage play for that reason. I think a lot of the stuff that we hear on social media, we hear women talk about on social media, we kind of bypass it because you be like, she trying to get me to conform to what she want me to do. And he trying to get me to listen to him and I'm not going to be submissive. All of the stupid stuff that y'all been talking about, all of that is stupid conversation, right? Hear me out. So all of the fellas that came to the stage play was like, yo, I never knew I heard people say postpartum, but I never knew that's what you could do during postpartum. And then I never knew when it came to a woman birthing a child, if it was a C-section or if it was what is it, the regular canal birth. He's like, I never knew that they had to wait and the woman had to have a bowel movement in between so they can make sure that everything is wired properly. I was like, yeah, it's a lot of stuff. They learned that in our stage play. I was like, yo, congratulations. Come on. So where it was a really good, entertaining show, it was also educational. So, and that's what I wanted. I want to make sure that couples are starting to talk again. I want them to start understanding each other again. That's why we came up with the Lucrative Love podcast. That's why we came up with it. I want people to start having more meaningful conversations besides what do you bring to the table? That is the stupid. Okay, no. Okay. It is stupid. It is a stupid conversation, but I don't want to make it all about that when we start talking about relationships. When we start talking about relationships, even fellas, I'm going to tell y'all this. Let me let y'all into this little secret. A lot of the stuff that we complain about, yep, I'm going to say it. A lot of the stuff that we complain about, we probably condoned the behavior in the beginning. We just didn't realize what it was in disguise. Case in point. If you're a go-getter like me, right? I'm a go-getter, you're a go-getter, she's a go-getter, he's a go-getter, everybody's a go-getter, right? Let's say this. I come up and you say, well, I want to make sure I provide. My woman ain't gotta work. We getting real money over here. She ain't gotta work, bro. Look at it. We always made that a chip on our shoulder. We was like, yo, this is what it is. Look at it. Tell them, you ain't gotta work. But then behind the scenes, we want to complain. Like, what is she gonna do? What else is she gonna do with her time? Like, you see how you set yourself up in one area because you wear it as a chip on your shoulder on this side, but on this side it's like, yo, this is very destructive. I feel like you are not appreciating me. Then you go outside and you find somebody that appreciates you, and then you say, oh, we just grew apart. I gotta stop. Because the first person I thought of was Tia Mowry and her husband. I was like, when they first was like, yeah, we're gonna get a divorce. I'm done. She don't respect me and he don't respect me. I'm done. And now what y'all see? All of the women that congratulated Tia Mowry for divorcing her husband. What y'all see now? Just let this sink in. You smell the sage? I smell the sage. People need people, y'all. People need people. So I'm just saying, yo, she don't leave the house to can't say I miss my huh? I was about to say which one. Nope. Anyway, we gotta start today's pod. As if you have been living under a rock and you don't know, Puff's trial officially started this week, and it's been a lot of people covering what's going on at the trial. It's been a lot of hearsay, she say, but this is what I'm gonna say. All of them say stuff, but this is what I'm gonna say. If y'all can remember, this is probably back in This probably a year ago now. Yeah, it's about a year ago now. I talked about my situation and me being in the studio with Puff. Yep, me too. See, I'm not lying. I'm about to lie. He got me too, y'all. I'm a battered man. I'm battered. He got me. No, he didn't get me. He ain't get me. But I was in the studio with Puff years ago, and I ain't gonna front from a professional side of things. It was a really cool experience, right? Um, I have y'all seeing stuff now. Lord Jesus, I talked about Kalina. I was like, Don wasn't there, but they were both. I think she came in, but she was acting funny, so she left. Puff was like, "This ain't no New York ish." I was like, "All right, bet." And that was pretty much the extent of the studio session. It was nothing nasty. It was nothing nasty, right? But Puff, like me, and like Goliath, and like Kay, and like everybody else, a lot of my friends are Scorpios. Now that I think about it, a lot of y'all Scorpios, but we have vivid imaginations, right? So I'm gonna say this: if you're not a Christian and you're not in church world and you don't believe in God and all that stuff, okay, hear me out. What happens with a person that has a real vivid imagination? You can use it for good, or you can use it for evil, or you just see the biggest opportunity in the world. Case in point, if I am a producer, which I am, or Goliath will upgrade the meaning, or anybody that's in a creative space, if you create something, you see it on the largest scale possible. You see it at the stadium. You can see your idea at the Super Bowl halftime. You see the artist wearing, if you're a apparel person, you see the artist on the Super Bowl wearing your shirt. You see it on the largest scale possible when you're creative, right? Well, it don't stop there. It don't stop. I imagine Puff was like, you know what? And he was getting high, y'all. And he was getting high, but I'm gonna let them talk. But he was getting high, and he got the imagination. Bad mix. It's a terrible mix. When I heard that they said that man had a pool, a blow up pool full of baby oil in the hotel room. A blow up pool full of baby oil in the hotel room. I'm gonna tell y'all, the first thing I thought makes sense. Makes a lot. Why is that? Why y'all mad at that? That don't make sense to y'all? A swimming pool full of baby oil so you don't run out of it. But again, in a creative brain is not good. Some people should have limited resources. Some people should have limited resources, and it was clear that at some point he did whatever he needed to do to keep it going. He did whatever he needed to do to keep it going. So it's like, all right, well, what do we do now? What we do now is get on trial for all the nasty stuff that you did in the past. It's here. It's here. So I'm gonna pull up a few news clips because I thought it was pretty interesting, of the accounts that Cassie spoke of. Even with this, and I'm not bashing women, y'all. I just took up for y'all. I literally just said, yeah, I want people to. This is me. This is me talking like I'm me. I just want people to talk again, and I want folk to have relationships and healthy marriages. I just said that, right? I want men to understand women, and I want the women to understand men, so we can be kumbaya, right? I just said that. I just said that. But I also said this: when it comes to when it comes to a person that's an opportunist, a lot of the times they're gonna do whatever they need to do. They're gonna do whatever they need to do. I peed my mouth. Hmm? Hmm? Right here. Put them. Hmm? When it comes to an opportunist, they're gonna do whatever they need to do. They're gonna do whatever they need to do to keep the thing moving. And I told y'all this, even when it came to Cassie the first time. I said, okay, she's filed the lawsuit. I said, oh, the money dried up. I said, ain't no more COVID, ain't no more COVID money. The money dried up. She needs some money. Everybody said, well, nah, Nito, it ain't all about the money. Shit. Why would you say that? You got to stand for women. I said, I do stand for women, but this particular situation tells me that she's trying to get a bag. I did not see her as the victim until I saw The hotel fight, that whole situation, the squabble up. They did the Kendrick Lamar squabble up. It's not funny. Y'all better not laugh. Y'all better not laugh. But they did this, they did the squabble up, right? I said, okay, this is a DV situation, but under what terms is the DV existing? Was somebody what is it? What did you call it when you're picking the bear? I can't think of the name of that term. But when you're in the middle of getting some people to do, I can't think of what's the word? What is the word? Y'all tell me the word. I can't stand when I can't figure out a word. I can't think of it. When you're making, I'm gonna say making fun. When you're making fun of a person and you're picking and you're picking and you're picking, some people don't have the tolerance to deal with the BS. I'm one of the people that I will have the tolerance to deal with the BS, but I'm taking notes the whole time. I'm like, okay, okay, where's my pen? You're gonna do that, okay, you're gonna do that, you're gonna do that. I turned into Drake, you're gonna do that, you're gonna do that. You're gonna do that right there too. Yeah, I'm taking notes because in the event that you do this again, now I got a track record of you doing this thing. But some people don't have the patience to do that part. I'm assuming that Puff, with all of his resources and all the ability to touch as many people as he needs to, legally, because we gonna talk the politicians. It's been a lot of politicians at the parties. Everybody, listen. Oh, I want to talk so bad. But I can just imagine all of the politicians, all of the people poke the bear. Okay, we're gonna use that. That's not the word I was looking for, but I'm gonna use that. But we saw, you can imagine all the politicians and their wives and they getting dressed up and they say, oh, we gonna, oh yeah, well after the Met Gala, then we're gonna go to the Puff Party. But after the Met, no, before the Met Gala, we're gonna go to the Rock Nation brunch. We're gonna go to the Rock Nation brunch, and then we're gonna go to the Met Gala, and then after the Met Gala, then we're gonna go to the Puffy Party because he has the best parties. Oh my God, y'all did that. Y'all been doing that. Don't act like y'all ain't. Everybody was there. Everybody saw the bowl. I only know about the bowl. Do y'all know about the bowl? Did they mention the bowl on trial yet? If they hadn't mentioned the bowl on trial, then I'll leave. I won't relinquish information, and I'm not gonna tell y'all how I know. But the bowl, there's a bowl. Y'all all know about that bowl. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, let's pull up some of the trial notes. Fox has been doing a good job. I think all the news channels has been doing a good job covering the Puff trial. This is where I am. Now, how you know about it, big dog? I ain't been to the party. I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to go to the party. I was just never invited. I wasn't cool enough. I wasn't with the cool kids. Y'all, all of y'all would have went to the Puff party. If this was 5 years ago, y'all would have went to the party. Stop playing. Y'all would have went to the party. Y'all would have dressed how he wanted y'all to dress because y'all know he was probably extra. Nah. We got to have that white linen. And all the men need to have a rose on their collar with a pin in it. All the women. Y'all know he did that. Y'all know good and well. And y'all went to the party willfully understanding what could possibly go down. Y'all knew about his reputation. Y'all knew that he was a freaky A-boy. Y'all knew that he was a box guy. Y'all already knew this. But now everybody trying to act new. Not this day. All right, so this is the first week of trial. It's wrapped up the first week. So let's see what they're talking about.
Collections of her ex, Sean Combs. But the big moment of the morning was actually an audio recording in which Ventura threatened to kill a DJ who said he had a lurid video of her having sex with Combs. On the stand, Ventura appeared taken back by the recording, but also amused. She has occasionally smiled at the defense when answering their questions.
Oh my God. If y'all don't hear it like I hear it, yo, Cassie, you are married. It's over. You can't do that. Cassie, girl, you are pregnant and you are married. You cannot smile at Puff while you in trial. Cause I'm imagining she on that stand remembering some of this stuff. A freak.
Cassie also testified that after the Intercontinental.
Uh-oh, what happened to my volume? Hold up, give me a sec. I think something happened to the volume.
Sean Combs going to rehab, how he overdosed and almost died.
Wow.
In one of his freak off marathon sessions that happened.
I gotta be serious. I gotta be serious. Y'all nasty. If y'all not thinking like I'm thinking, then y'all nasty too. How long did they go during these sessions, yo? How long were they busting it down for a real one in these sessions? I just want to know. I want to know. I want to know. I don't want to know what turns them on.
Been there. So this is going to be key as we move forward here in this trial, as the defense really, again, like I said.
Okay, let's just think about this thing right quick. The average couple, right? And I'm talking about married people, see, because I have a big Christian fan base. So I'm talking about married couples. The average married couple, or the average, let's say newly married couple, because when it's new, then you want to do it all the time. You want to get it in, right? On average, how long do you go? How long do you go in one session? For one session, how long have y'all gone? What is the longest? Because if K just put 72 hours in this shit, if they were doing it for 72, sheesh. No wonder you had to get the IV for the electrolytes. God
Trying
dang.
to establish that moment of Sean Combs having a deep alcohol and drug use problem. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that. If you're just joining us, cross examination really starting with the incident in 2016. Cassie did say on the stand that Sean Combs was visibly intoxicated and on drugs during that time when he did assault Cassie, that was caught on the camera. Then, days after we were shown some text message exchanges that Diddy seemed remorseful, wanted to have sex with Ventura in the coming days.
He was on the Rick James. He was doing the Rick James. That's all that was. He was doing the Rick James.
Was recuperating, she said, and it felt a little strange given that he just beat her down. But they both, at the end of that conversation, did exchange love yous once again. And this is key because defense are trying to show that Cassie was not totally scared of the incident, was still engaging and having conversations with him during this time. So,
Yo, real talk. I'm not trying to get super deep. But I feel like that is a demon. This is like a sex demon. Like anytime you're doing that and you come to it's like I'm a smash for 3 days. Come here. Then you come back and be like, man, what happened? 3 days later, and y'all going back and forth like it's normal. That's possession. That's a demon. That's a demon.
Again, just a little bit more details coming from the cross examination that we're able to pass along to you, always worldwide on Live Now from Fox, giving you these updates to the best of our abilities here.
Okay.
When you get this effed up,
this is
relationships. If someone did that to someone, they'd be out. They would have ran away. They would have said, "Okay, I'm done with this.
Exactly.
I don't want to be a part of this." But they are going to try to show from these text messages that Cassie still loved him and wanted to be with him and felt that he only did this when he was intoxicated and when he was on drugs. That's one of the key things that came out earlier this morning because in those text messages, she says, when you get this effed up, this is the way you act. So, really showcasing to the defense and really the jury saying,
okay, this is another thing. I think when you open yourself and your relationship up to certain things, I think it really sets you up for the okie doke and for yourself to lose. You and your partner, whoever to lose. It sets yourself up to lose because now your expectation is going to always be the adrenaline rush that you got during the thing that you did. Right? So if your thing was, we're going to take it out of this category. Let's say food. If it's a person that just loves food so much, and they call what the Bible say gluttonous. They call they just like to eat. They like to eat, right? At some point, it can kill you if you do it. If you do it enough, because you're doing everything that you can do with that particular thing. You're doing everything that you can do with that particular thing. There is no pause. There is no. It's like I'm gonna always do this thing. So it's tricky. It's
Okay,
tricky.
you can see he clearly has a problem. She knows he has a problem. I'm sure other people in the industry knew he had a problem. And I'm sure that some of the defense witnesses later on in the trial will be bringing some of those witnesses to clarify and really drive home that, yeah, Sean Combs did have a problem with drugs and alcohol. He'd act loopy, he wasn't himself, and he would just sometimes get really violent as well. So, yeah, that is something that we should really, really focus in on today as one of the major takeaways that we are seeing. Again, Diddy is watching this all from the defense stand. And I was talking a first. I'm talking about having, a 20,000 square foot mansion, multiple mansions.
See when a person gets a lot of access, it's scary. Honestly, that is one of my fears, and I think that's what dials me back a little bit. Now I know my motives. I know my motives are pure from the jump. I don't aim to hurt nobody. I don't aim to abuse any privilege, right? But there is always going to be that little bitty demon that sits on your shoulder, be like, "Yo, all you gotta do is just do this. If you just do this, it'll be all right. Just do that one quick. All right, cool. You good? See, ain't nothing happen." And then you just keep doing it over and over, and the little demon turns to the big demon. Then the big demon be like, "All right, come on, give me a hug." Puff is holding the big demon. He is consoling the big demon.
On each coast. Now he's in a cell. He's lucky to have 500 square feet. So the mental.
So, all right. I'm done with that for this week. I'm done with that for this week. My first point that I wanted to bring out for the whole Cassie segment, because I do feel like Dawn. I think Dawn Richards on this. Did she come up this week? I don't know if Dawn came up to testify or not this week, but I will say that was the first thing I thought about when it came to Cassie. I was like, yo, she is going to get up there on that stand and they're going to ask her certain questions and she might have a small relapse. Guess what? That's exactly what was happening. Cuz see, this is where I start to tell people that they got to hold themselves accountable. If you willfully participated in nasty work, you willfully did all of the nasty stuff, and somebody said, "Yeah, she'd probably rather take some pee than a fist in the face." I was like, "All right, based off of all of this stuff, she could have just took nothing and just went back to the house. That was the option. Go back to your mama house." Now she may have had to go back to school and become a nurse like all of the rest of the baddies on Instagram. It is what it is. It is what it is. She could have just did that. But she got accustomed to the lifestyle. She got accustomed to the lifestyle. So I will say, whenever you get in the position of, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get to this bag, even if it consists of me doing something that I don't necessarily agree with morally, I'm going to do this to get my bag. That's always been my issue with a lot of people. Now, will I say that is the slow grind? Sure. That is the super slow grind. It is very difficult to navigate if you don't have the grit to keep going and become a real boss. If you don't have that grit, then yeah, you're gonna try to find the easiest route out. I feel like what she did was the easiest route out. A lot of people will say, "Well, I mean, if you want to really do that, then you need to blame Ryan Leslie." Okay, all of it. I've blamed the whole industry for the whole time. That's why I ain't been in folk faces trying to go to different studio sessions. I come from the space of being in the studio with a lot of people. These plaques on my wall and all of the stuff that I've acquired as a producer came as a result of working with these people, right? But I realized something at some point was like, yo, oh, it's nasty over here. I remember this one time, and I'm gonna go to my next clip because I want to cover enough, and I don't want to run out of time. But I remember it was one particular studio session I was in. I feel like I was either in Brooklyn. I was either in Brooklyn or I was in. Was it West? Is Westchester? I think Westchester. I think that's where it was. But I was in the studio, right? And I think I was just finished doing some stuff for a Hot Rod. That was right around the time I was doing some work with Amina Butterfly. Shouts out to all of them. And it just, you start to get in an environment enough where drinking, smoking, and all of this stuff is the regular norm to do. This is why when artists come to my studio now, I'll say, well, nah, I don't. You can't do no smoking in the studio. If you want to smoke, you have to go outside. I want to make it an inconvenience, right? Because the music that you make as a result of being high or being on lean or whatever you're doing, the music that you make as a result of that is normally going to be influenced by the substance that you're on, right? So I remember me personally. At one point, I was smoking a pack of Black and Miles a day. I was hitting Black and Miles like this, like every day, Black and Miles. At night, I might have some Ciroc. I might have the pineapple. It was the pineapple Ciroc with a little bit of Sprite. I was doing, and this is not even that ain't even my character, right? But being in the environment was like, all right, yo, well, we smoking weed. What you doing over there? I was like, I'm here to Black Miles. You want something from the store? It becomes a pattern. You get used to the pattern. At some point, you forget that that's a pattern that you develop while you're in the business. Now, it's just your norm, right? So I want to be one of the people to be like, yo, you got to think about what you're doing before you do it. Like this is destructive behavior. Even with some of the dudes when I lived in LA, I ain't gonna say no names. My inner circle has heard me talk about these stories a lot. So, but when I was in LA for a while, doing work. The norm, promiscuous activity, smash and dash, all that stuff, that was normal. A lot of people were doing it. So I said a lot of people. I didn't say me. I said a lot of people, not me. I've always taken pride in just doing right by folk. I've always taken pride in not having to hide too much stuff. Some stuff you just got to keep to yourself. I ain't gonna front like some stuff y'all just don't need to know. But a lot of stuff that's on this level, on the puff level, this is norm. This is the norm. So now, this is a question I brought up in the Lucrative Love experience, and I'm gonna bring the same question up here. How many other record execs, Fortune 500 company owners, have been doing, not have been, they're still doing that to this day? Everything that Puff is convicted, or everything that they have him on trial for, how many people are currently doing the exact same thing? Now, I'm not saying I'm not trying to make it right, but I'm just saying if we're going to do this thing properly, bring everybody to the stage. The congregation and the church doors are open. Bring them all there and ask these questions. Ask the hard questions. Also, what about Cassie's husband, man? Let's be real. Cassie's husband got to be sick in the stomach right now. You hearing and this is exactly why I keep saying it's feeding the stereotype that we're putting out on social media. Everybody has been saying these women ain't ish. Everybody has been saying if you want to do you got to get a 6-figure earner. Okay, after the 6-figure earner is just being the 6-figure earner. How is the character? Did you ever look at the character? Did you ever look at the character of the person? If we didn't look at the character of the person, okay, what is that like? And these are the hard questions that people need to start asking outside of, does he have good, you know what, and is he making money? The character. Everybody's just bypassing that part. And the funny thing is, a lot of the people that got good character, y'all call them lames. from both sides, from the male side and from the female side. Y'all will all call them lames because when they got good character. Because guess what? That girl that got the good character, she probably in school for tech. She's probably in school studying AI technology. She might be in robotics. She might be in science, right? She pretty. She probably one of them bad. She one of them. But the dude ain't gonna look at her like that because he's like, okay, all right, cool, cool, cool. Now I do think the new age guy is changing. I don't think my generation. I think the way my generation was thinking has faded out a little bit. And yeah, but what about Cassie's husband? Now they got to go home after court every day. I hope that she gave him a little hint like, yo, this might get a little nasty. I don't know if you, I think I appreciate you showing up with me in court, but this might get a little nasty because some of the stuff that they asked me, I'm going to give them the truth. I hope she gave him that prerequisite before they went into court because I ain't going to front. After this whole thing, if I was him, I'd be done. That's too much. It's too many circumstances that line up where she was supposed to be with the husband at the same time, but she over there with Puff. Yeah, I answered the phone. Like this, it's just weird. It's weird, and that's what made dudes be like, I don't trust her. That's what it comes from. It comes from that, and also not only that, that's the exact reason why a lot of guys be like, well, I'm gonna just get to the bag. I'm gonna just get to the bag because if I get to the bag, now I got the influence, I got the money that I need to go buy the dope stuff. I'm gonna get the woman that I want because y'all have made that the top priority. Y'all have made it top priority. This is the big issue. Jesus, Lord Jesus. Anyway, we're here. We're here. Goliath says every time I look at her, that's why I would be thinking. Yeah, and the thing is, if they've been doing a lot of that type of stuff in their personal relationship, like Cassie and her husband, okay, now I see that's just a pattern. That's what y'all like to do. Y'all freaks. Everybody freaks. All right, cool. Y'all do what y'all do. But chances are, a lot of this stuff that she's saying on this while she's on the in court, that might be the first time he ever heard this stuff. And now they got kids together, not just one kid, kids. Now, let's take it to Mr. Puff. When it comes to Puff, like, dude, you got to think how many people do you employ or have you employed over time? And this is the stuff that I think about, honestly. This is the stuff that keeps me on the straight and narrow. I don't want to ever come up with the company and I scale that joint to making 250 million a year, 500 million a year. Oh, we just touched a billion, right? I don't want to be one of the CEO owners that's got acquired all of this stuff and I got all of this staff and I got all of these products and brands underneath me and now they have to be under scrutinization for something that I did years ago. And that's why I just be like, yo, you moving too fast. Whoa. You moving too, and I know a lot of people be like, "Yeah, man, you just want me. You trying to take the fun away." I'm not trying to take the fun away, but I just want y'all to think about this thing. When you associate yourself with certain people and certain services, at some point, it's going to get brought to the congregation. At some point. But anyway, let's go to the next subject. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Speaking of congregation, speaking of congregation, the plantation that burnt in what is this, Louisiana. And oh yeah, I must also add
Beating the S&P on all.
I must also add all of the people that will be following the Puff trial. If y'all do want me to continue to talk about it, we will continue to cover it. Since there's so much stuff going on, I'm gonna probably cover some of it on this pod, and I'm gonna cover some of it on the Lucrative Love Experience. But it's a lot to cover. It's a lot to cover. All right. Next up, we got the burning house in Louisiana. Listen, the first thing I thought was, look at my God. My God don't play about his children. So the plantation that burnt in Louisiana. I wanted to cover this because y'all know I love to talk about real estate. And we did not cover what's going on in California. It's a lot of nasty stuff going on in California real estate. We're going to cover that. I might have to do that next week because I want to make sure I do a deep dive on it. But this particular week, Louisiana got to come to the congregation. Just let them talk. Let them talk right quick.
Flames shooting out of the largest standing antebellum mansion in America. This was the scene last night in White Castle as the fire took a serious...
All right, I might be slow. All of my super black people, what does antebellum mean? What is the antebellum? Is it a specific type of plantation? Is it the land? Is it the area? What does antebellum mean? I've never looked this stuff up.
Toll on the Nottoway Plantation house. Louisiana
Nottoway Plantation.
First News reporter Kayla Gaston speaking to parish officials today to get a handle on the damage there.
A day after a fire destroyed the Nottoway Plantation house, how the fire started remains under investigation.
It's a day that we were always afraid of.
Thick smoke and flames rose from the historic Nottoway Plantation Thursday afternoon, a 160-year-old structure in Iberville Parish, sparking conversation about its legacy.
There's so much controversy with the past, but you know, in the generations that we didn't live in that generation, right? The main thing is the preservation of history is so important.
10 fire departments rushed to continue.
No. Okay. All right. Because I love my people. I love all my people. All the colors. Huh? Black, white, red, yellow, blue. All of them. I love them. But, why do we want to... do y'all like the idea of preserving plantations? Let's start there. All of my people that's watching this on playback, do y'all like the idea of preserving plantations? And if you do like the idea of preserving plantations, under what guise? Why do you want to preserve the plantation? Personally, I don't even want to see the history. I talked about this one time before, and I'm gonna go back to the video. But it's one particular time we were going to Kissimmee, Florida, for a family vacation, and me, my wife, and my 2 daughters, we were riding in the truck, and we're riding through Alabama, but it's a certain spot between Alabama and Georgia, because it wraps around. Like, you got to drive from Georgia to Alabama, then back to Florida to get to that particular part of Florida. So I saw cotton for the first time, like cotton fields, right? I ain't gonna front. The first thought that I was thinking is, yo, they ain't burnt this down yet? Like, they need to be growing some grapes or something else. Why are they still growing cotton? I felt the way, because I'm like, yo, that part of history, I don't know. I'm conflicted. I do understand that it's important to preserve certain parts of history so you don't go back to the past, right? It's certain things. It's like, oh, I see this happening. This happened also in 1958. Okay, we don't want to go. We don't want to go back here again. So let's change the way that we're doing certain things. All right, cool. That's that part of preserving history I'm with, right? But I feel like the plantations is a constant reminder that, no, you used to get your black A beat. They used to wah swallow. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that memory. Anyway.
In the blaze. Though parts of the property were damaged, the main structure still stands.
We will continue our investigation, leave no stone unturned until we determine what has caused and why this fire happened. No timetable on how long it's going to take. This is a large-scale fire, so it's going to take a lot of effort.
The mansion, once a plantation home, now operates as a resort and museum, drawing visitors from around the world.
This event here...
Yo, would y'all stay at the plantation overnight? Would y'all like to stay at a plantation overnight? I don't know.
It's gonna take a toll on the Louisiana tourism.
Several departments responded to help fight the fire. No injuries were reported. For Louisiana First News, I'm Kayla Gaston.
Appreciate that, Kayla. Nah, I'm good on that, though. I'm good on that. So let me look up. They said Nottoway Plantation. Let's see who owned it. All right, so the Nottoway Plantation was owned by John Hamden Randolph. Prominent Louisiana planner. It was construction. So I'm trying to see what they grew. All right, so they built it during the Civil War. He said, no. I know y'all doing that, but no, we're doing this over here. Oh, man. Okay. So Randolph, he continued So he had his slave labor all the way up until 18. Oh, he sold it in 1889 for $50,000. Yo, I ain't gonna front. I'd have bought that joint for 50,000. 50 bands? Like, I just finished saying burn it down. No, like I would have. Yo, that's it. 800 acres. 800 acres and a mansion for $50,000 is what he sold. Is 1989. Okay. I still don't see what they grew. All right, so whoever he sold it to, they had tax problems and they had to sell it again. They foreclosed on it for $10,000. That's crazy. We spend $10,000 on cars now. That's crazy. Anyway, salute. I'm thinking somebody probably burnt that joint down though. Somebody probably did that. All right, we got a few more subjects to talk about, but salute. Now, more DV. I talked about Tory Lanez a while ago about the music though. It wasn't nothing about the case with Megan. I will say it has not been looking good for women. It ain't been looking good. It's gonna take a lot of women with a lot of integrity to pull up the current social environment because it ain't looking good. When this first happened with Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion, I don't know. I don't think. Well, no, I can't say that because we look at Puff. But no, we saw that though. We saw everything happening with Puff. We literally saw it unfolding over time. We championed it. I've said this over and over and over. Right? When and I'm saying the difference between Puff, Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion, all that stuff. I feel like Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, and that whole situation with Kelsey, that has been controlled by a certain entity. I'm not gonna say what entity I think has been controlling that whole situation, even with the Tory Lanez stabbing. It is another entity that's controlling that whole situation, right? That's what I'm gonna say. With the Puff thing, it's a little bit different. I feel like, of course, it's public, so I'm not breaking no new news. But we all saw Clive Davis and Puff do all what they do. A lot of people read Clive Davis' book. Clive Davis literally came out. We heard 50 talk about, yo, Puff tried to take me shopping. All of the cards lines up so we can see exactly what's been happening. We can see the person's character. When it comes to Puff, he got used to being able to pay people to do whatever he needed them to do. If he wanted to pay the bodyguard to get something to go away, he paid the bodyguard to get it to go away. What you need. His number, notice this. Puff's number never changed. It's always been $50,000, no matter how much money he got. That's good budgeting. That's good budgeting. How has Puff maintained paying people $50,000 from the 90s all the way to now? Yo, I salute him. That's good business right there. That's good business. But no, on a serious note, like that's everything that Puff has been doing. The control, the idea of him having so much power over certain things, him getting handed Bad Boy technically. Like a lot of y'all don't put two and two together. This is what I was thinking, right? If I had an intern working for me, and I promise you we're going to get to the Tory Lanez conversation to wrap it up. But if I had an intern working for me and they said, okay, well, yo, Nito, what all you need me to do for the day, right? And I give them the task of things to do for the day. All right, once we leave the studio, we need to go to the other venue. We're going to check it. We're going to do sound check. We're going to look at the camera work. We're going to do audio visual check. We're going to look at the plan for the show. Then we're going to do the next thing, and we're going to do this, that. Then I need another 30 minutes with my kids and my wife. All of this stuff is planned, right? Cool. Now, if I interject another line item in that daily list and the person that I employ buck on me, I'm gonna just be like, all right, you know what? It ain't that serious. We'll just knock it out tomorrow. Right? A lot of times I do that. I'm not gonna go back and forth with nobody. That's just not me. I don't do that. But in the case of a Puff, if somebody bucked, I can imagine him being like, all right, well, cool. You just done. I'm gonna fire you. It's mad people that want to come work for me. That is the issue with having super giants as CEOs. That's the issue right there. Anytime somebody can control a situation through a threat, I'm a threaten to do ... He got too much power. It's way too much power. Now, unfortunately, and I'm all for the black man owning businesses. I'm all for black billionaire entrepreneurship. I'm all for all of that. But you can kind of look at the people that's been around Puff and kind of tell, all right, they've been on the same BS as him, right? Even some of the networks that was affiliated with the Bad Boy brand over time. Look at the character of the people, right? I've never met Clive Davis, but it's always been something that looked like, oh no, no, something ain't right. The idea of, what was it, the sacrifice, the Illuminati sacrifice and all this, I could definitely see it happening. I think for the Illuminati, they're going to target anybody that has a strong will to keep going and a strong will to win, because they're going to use that. That's how they're going to manipulate the situation. So if it came to the Puff situation, all right, that's all about control. That's all about power manipulation. All right, cool. When it comes to the Tory Lanez situation, I'm looking at brand alignment. We talked about Tory Lanez and his idea of entrepreneurship for musicians and streaming numbers and how to manipulate the system to get to a real bag, right? Well, not manipulate, that's a bad word. How to use the system to get to a real big bag. Tory Lanez he broke the code a long time ago. All right, cool. How many people did he get on their hit list? How many people did he got on a lot of people's hit lists? Because guess what? You got one side of it, which is, okay, these artists are starting to get smart, and we can't use the same 360 to manipulate the numbers and get paid, because Tory just talked about how he did with just dropping more and more music, and he did it this way. He went through this avenue. Even Russ has been giving game, but I think Russ is in bed with somebody now. When I say in bed, I'm talking about business, right? He's in bed with somebody right now. So it's a little bit different. LaRussell, he's doing it dolo. We can see it. You literally see the difference between all of the situations. But when it came to Tory Lanez, he had used the Atlantic system to get hot. Once he used the system to get hot, now he's like, all right, cool. Y'all got what y'all got. And this is, for me, how Tory Lanez did it. This is the perfect example of how to use the system, and they win as a result of your success, and you win as a result of them helping you build your brand. It's a perfect marriage. Well, I don't think they wanted that. I don't think that system, that label system, does not work that way. I think that system works on a reoccurring pay forever until you die out. That's why they're going to continue to give Drake these options that they keep giving him. Anytime you give a person the option of $250 million or $500 million with a three song album deal, the third album is never going to come out, y'all. Y'all realize that, right? That is the way people manipulate systems. Case in point, somebody comes to the studio and say, yo, Nito, I love everything you're doing, bro. And I got this artist. We got a deal over here at Universal. We just need a producer, right? I'm like, all right, cool. Bring an artist in. I start producing them. It's all right, cool. Your producer's deck is gonna be this, and when we bust it down, then the artists, they gonna get their money off the road. That's what y'all been saying. Y'all have literally been saying this. We ain't gonna really worry about streams too much because they gonna get their money off the road. Well, what that does for the artist is it always sets them up to be behind. They will never be in the net positive when it comes to paying their deal off. It will never be positive. Why? All of their upfront money and all of their residuals that you would normally get from royalties or that you would normally get from publishing, you signed all of it away to the producer, like me. And I didn't even ask for it. But this is how the system can work. They sign off a lot of the production credits. So that's, I'm going to say 25 to 50% unless you got co-producers. If you want to learn more about that, go ahead and take the course. I got a course link in my bio. Take the course. But they can get that. Producer get 50%. All right, now we had a songwriter to write the song. The artist didn't write the song? No, the artist didn't write the song. All right, so the songwriter going to get 25%. Okay, the label going to take what? 20%. All right, the artist going to get 5%. So yeah, if you go to you start doing shows and you got a album or you got a song that's doing 100 million in streams, okay, great. You still ain't gonna make enough money to sustain your lifestyle with just that little bit, because guess what? Your percentage was signed off in the beginning. But all you said is, I'm trying to get hot, man. I want to be everywhere. I want my name in the lights. I got to be on radio. Man, I want to get to the Grammys. I want to get nominated. Guess what? All of this stuff is arbitrary, meaning all of this stuff get paid for. It just gets paid for. Real talk. Y'all notice why it's always the same big labels that have the same artists that get on the same stages? Why do you think that is? It's not the fact that these artists are that hot. It got paid for. All of this stuff just got paid for. So, in the event of Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, I saw it a while ago. I was like, yo, they don't want that boy to be heard or seen. They're trying to get rid of everything that he stands for. Who is the they? Y'all got to figure out who the they is. I can't tell you who the they are. It's a lot of them. But they are trying to shut this boy up. And I said, he better watch it. And this is before the shooting. This is before all of that. I said, yo, he got to watch it. I said, I will start not going to some of them parties in LA. Notice this too. It's always the parties. It is always some type of party that sets somebody up for the okie doke. The Puff Party. All of the people affiliated with the Puff Party. Because now, again, we got politicians. We had Oprah. We had prime ministers. We had a lot of people going to the Puff Party. The Puff Party was so big that it wasn't just in the U.S. It wasn't just in Miami. He was doing them joints in Dubai. He was doing some of them joints in Paris. Fashion Week. People were partnering with him to do some parties. Well, guess what? Now the nasty work is coming out to the light. Now it's coming out. And I ain't heard nobody notice. Ain't none of these companies that Puff has been affiliated with over time come to the stand. Now, granted, if they're trying to do a RICO case, then yeah, he about to come to the stand. Because this is something else that I thought of, and I promise we got to lay on the Tory Lanez and get off of it. How many people allowed Puff to use their jets and their planes to fly from this place to that place? How many people? I know we got the Virgin Mobile. Huh? He let them use a plane. They said, what's his name? Not Steve Starr. I can't think of buddy's name. Not Clive Davis. Jimmy Iovine. Let him use the jet. A lot of people let Puff use the jet. Well, guess what you did? You set yourself up for the okie doke. Are you going to get called to the stand too? Because if you let somebody use a jet to fly from Miami to Texas and they got a female on the plane, guess what? That is officially a part of this case. It's officially a part of this case. All of this stuff when the girl said, girl, I'm trying to get flued out. Yep. I was one of the only ones that's like, yo, y'all don't see that this is problematic. All of this stuff is problematic. You're going to get flown out under the guise of delivering services. Okay, now there's another type of traffic in the sky. I'm going to say that. It's another type of traffic. Now, you already know that Buddy got all of the drugs on the plane. He got everything. You already know everything. You're officially a part of this case. Congratulations. You're officially a part of this case. Now, this is something that I wanted to bring out with the Tory Lanez, because I wanted to believe I'm going to always stand for women. Always. I'm going to always do that. But when it comes to this Megan Thee Stallion situation, it was too much effort put into making sure that they covered the case by making her visible on all platforms. Notice this. And I'm glad that I could talk freely because this is my platform. Can't nobody squash my joint. Like, this is mine. But notice this. As soon as the shooting situation came out with Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, and I can't remember the other girl name. As soon as that information came out, and as soon as they got him in custody, They started putting that girl on every talk show possible. I think they put her on Sherry Shepherd. They put her on Jimmy Fallon. They put her on Saturday Night Live. They put her on as much stuff as possible. This is the trick that they play. It's a simple trick. This is if I put you on all of these shows and I lock up the person that's not even convicted but in custody for doing the thing that you said that he did to you, the only voice that can be heard is her voice. Duh. The only voice could be heard is hers. So now it was a setup. The system said, okay, we're going to make sure that he get locked up. We're going to put her in front of as much stuff as possible, change the image. We're going to try to clean her up a little bit. They put her on the campaign trail. Y'all saw all of this stuff. All of this was branding. It was a branding PR trick. Meanwhile, ain't nobody told the truth. I said, yo, wait. Did y'all not remember? Like, how is it possible? Maybe it's just me. But how is it possible for him to do that to her? And it was a third party in the car. And it was a bodyguard or a driver. All of this was, ain't nobody got nothing to say. It sounds just like another situation that we just heard about, where people get paid off to say what they need to say and to cover up the stuff that they need to cover up to make sure a certain party is, a certain party's interest is protected. Who is Megan Thee Stallion signed to? I want y'all to do the numbers. I want y'all to do the math. Who is Megan Thee Stallion signed to? Right? Who tried to sign Tory Lanez? Oh, sweet Jesus. All of this stuff, if y'all just do the paper trail, it's going to make sense. If y'all do the paper trail, it's going to make sense. Let's see. Nah, we're not going to talk about Smokey. Smokey Robinson has... The industry is the industry. I'll say it like that. That's all I can say. The industry is the industry. Unfortunately, we have been taught in music business, because this is one of the first things I heard from my lawyer that I had. He said, yo, Mag, you're a super talented guy, and these type of deals it's always these type of deals with the new guy. You know, you got to get some skin in the game, then you can take some better deals. So for me, I'm thinking now, why would you take the trash deal up front and then you got to work your way to the better deals versus negotiate the best deal possible in the beginning, and now you just work from there up? Because I guarantee you, in country world, if I was just producing country music, if I was just producing pop music, they never would have gave me that advice. If Taylor Swift was the first placement that I ever got, that deal, the idea of taking a bad deal, they would say, nah, this is the way the structure is going, and this, and this. How do you feel about this? I think we should aim to get a little bit more right here. It would have been a whole different conversations. It seems like every time it's in the urban category, we have to take the short end of the stick. That's problematic for me. That is a mentality that has to be changed. It has to be changed. But I just want y'all, let's do the paper trail. Y'all do some research on Megan Thee Stallion, do some research on Tory Lanez and the business dealings, and then come back to me and tell me what you find. Tell me what you find. All right, we gotta wrap it up. So as I started with, we gotta pay some bills. As I started with at the beginning of the show, everybody that took my 30 for 30 social media challenge, that is officially available for purchase. The 30 for 30 is a challenge that I came up with for all content creators, musicians, entrepreneurs, business owners. This is a concept that I came up with for y'all to get on the pattern of posting something daily. But in the middle of posting daily, I'm coaching you through identifying your brand. I'm coaching you through how to find the colors and the fonts and everything to go along with your brand so it sticks out and it makes people grab onto it as fast as possible. I'll say it like that. So I've had a lot of good feedback for the people that did take the 30 for 30. I developed it a little bit more before I put it up for sale. So now you have AI. You have the AI prompts along with each day. It's a 30-day challenge. All right. It's for sale for $49. I made it cheap enough for everybody to get it. Now, if you want me to coach you through it live, now that's an additional fee. But I already recorded everything visually, and I got the notes, and I have the handbook. Everything is already for you to just download, and you go about it for 30 days. Go at your own pace. And you have my contact in there if you have questions for any parts of the course that you might get a little hiccup on. Because we go through everything. I go through what freebies you should start giving away. I go through finding the freebies that make sense, that provide the most value, because this is how I look at things. If I'm going to give something to somebody for free, it has to have some value to it, because I want them to leave talking about how much value I gave them. I don't want to just give somebody something for free and it was just a pointless product. Like, I'm going to give you a lighter. Like, I don't smoke. I don't like candles. I don't do nothing with a lighter. Why would you give me a lighter? See what I'm saying? So this product covers everything. If you're trying to scale your business and use social media to do it, download this joint. Download this joint. But you can get this. Link is in the bio if you're watching this on YouTube. I know if you're watching this on YouTube, link is in the description. If you're watching this on any other social media platform, link is in my bio. All right. Hopefully I have a good week. Hopefully I enjoyed the show as much as I bring it. I enjoyed bringing it to you. All right. I'm going to holler at y'all next week. Peace. I'm going to holler. I got to call.